Hey everyone, welcome back to the Deep podcast. I'm your host Leo, and today we're diving deep into the current landscape of mental health, exploring some of the most groundbreaking innovations that are reshaping the way we think about treatment and care. We'll also be discussing the challenges, both current and emerging, that mental health systems across the globe are facing. In today's episode, we're going to take a look at everything from psychedelic medicine and neurostimulation technologies to the integration of AI and digital solutions in mental health care. We'll also cover how the environment and urban planning are influencing mental health, and we'll discuss the steps being taken at the policy level to address these crises. This is a huge topic with a lot of moving parts, so we'll break it all down. Keep listening because it's going to be a conversation that spans science, technology, policy, and most importantly, the real-life implications of these developments on people's well-being. Let's start by looking at the current mental health crisis, the treatment gaps, and how things are evolving. The mental health crisis and the growing treatment gaps. Mental health challenges have been on the rise for years, and if anything, the global situation is becoming more pressing. We've seen a noticeable increase in mental health disorders, especially depression and anxiety. The World Health Organization and national health bodies around the world have reported alarming spikes in these conditions, with the COVID-19 pandemic only exacerbating the problem. But here's the thing. While we're seeing higher rates of mental health conditions, we're also dealing with a massive gap in treatment. Traditional therapy, medication, and treatment methods simply aren't meeting the scale of the need. Many people either don't have access to adequate care or the support they need isn't enough to truly address the root causes of their struggles. Think about it. The system was designed to handle crisis intervention, but what about long-term mental health support? We're seeing more people seeking help, but they're often finding that mental health professionals are overwhelmed. Waiting lists are long, and some feel like they're being given a one-size-fits-all solution when they need something more individualized. And that brings us to the exciting innovations we're seeing in mental health care today. Innovations in mental health treatment. Let's start with one of the most talked about topics right now, psychedelic medicine. You might have heard about psychedelic therapies in the news lately, and for good reason. Research into the use of psychedelics like psilocybin, that's the active compound in magic mushrooms, and MDMA has been accelerating in recent years. These substances, which were once dismissed due to their association with recreational drug use, are now being explored for their therapeutic potential, especially in treating conditions like depression, PTSD, and anxiety. Major conferences like Psychedelic Science 2025 in Denver are showcasing some groundbreaking studies that are pushing the envelope on psychedelic-assisted therapy. What's incredible is the level of scientific rigor behind these trials. We're talking about double-blind placebo-controlled studies, which similar to the kind of research we see with pharmaceutical drugs. So far, the results have been pretty promising. Now, psychedelics are far from a catch-all solution, and the research is still ongoing. But they're certainly a front runner in terms of offering alternative approaches to mental health care. Speaking of alternatives, another area that's gaining serious attention is neurostimulation. More specifically, deep transcranial magnetic stimulation, Deep TMS, which is a non-invasive procedure that uses magnetic fields to stimulate nerve cells in the brain. Companies like Brainsway are leading the way in this field, showing that for some people, neurostimulation can significantly improve mental health symptoms when traditional therapies have failed. In essence, these technologies are tapping into the brain's electrical activity to help re-regulate neural circuits that might be contributing to depression, anxiety, and other mood disorders. It's a big deal because this kind of treatment offers a path for people who aren't responding well to traditional medication. And then, of course, we have the digital revolution in mental health care. AI powered solutions are starting to infiltrate the space in a big way. AI is being used to develop mental health platforms that offer 24/7 support through chatbots and virtual therapists. These AI systems can offer personalized treatment plans based on a person's individual needs, helping to address the rising demand for mental health services in a way that's scalable. What's especially exciting is that AI is not just about providing therapy. It's also helping to detect early signs of mental health conditions. For example, researchers at Columbia University have been using AI to sift through Medicaid data to detect early warning signs of schizophrenia. Imagine if we could catch these things earlier and provide targeted treatment before things escalate. But let's be real, AI is still in the early stages when it comes to mental health. While these systems can analyze massive amounts of data and offer insights, there's still some skepticism about whether AI chatbots can ever truly replace human therapists. And that leads us into a discussion on the role of digital therapy platforms and how they're changing the accessibility of mental health care. Accessibility, digital therapy, and hybrid solutions. Digital therapy platforms have really taken off in recent years, especially post-pandemic services like BetterHelp, Talkspace, and others have made it easier for people to access therapy without the usual barriers like long waiting times, travel, and in-person appointments. For people in rural areas or those with limited access to mental health care facilities, this has been a game changer. But what's especially interesting now is the rise of hybrid therapy, where people can combine online and in-person sessions to get the best of both worlds. This flexibility is great for people who need regular check-ins but can't commit to full-time in-person therapy. The convenience and affordability of these platforms are massive advantages, especially in an age where we need to be offering solutions that work for everyone. With the projected growth of the mental health platform market, the $8.66 billion by 2029, it's clear that digital mental health is a long-term trend. But let's not overlook the challenges. Not every solution works for everyone. While AI chatbots can provide some basic support, there are concerns that they might not fully understand the nuances of human emotions or offer the depth of care that a trained therapist can. We also see that only 38% of behavioral health providers have interoperable EHR, electronic health record systems, which makes it difficult for digital tools to integrate seamlessly into existing clinical workflows. The impact of the environment and policy on mental health. So far, we've talked a lot about treatment innovations, but one of the things that's often overlooked is the environmental impact on mental health. Urbanization and the way we build cities are playing a huge role in our mental well-being. For example, research at the University of Louisville is looking into how urban green spaces affect mental and physical health. Wearable technologies are being used to track people's responses to different environments. And what they're finding is pretty compelling. People who live near green spaces tend to report lower levels of stress, anxiety, and depression. It's another reminder that our environment can have a significant impact on how we feel and how we cope with life stresses. At the policy level, we're starting to see some promising developments. In places like New Jersey, there's an initiative to break down structural barriers in behavioral health by creating a more connected and supportive mental health ecosystem. This kind of transformative alliance could serve as a model for other states or countries to follow, addressing the systemic issues that have left so many without access to care. On a global scale, the G7 is now being urged to strengthen brain health initiatives by investing in mental health, they argue. Governments can not only improve citizens' well-being, but also stabilize health costs and boost economic growth. We're starting to see a shift in how mental health is viewed, not just as a healthcare issue, but as a critical element in the overall health and productivity of societies. The future of mental health treatment. As we look to the future, it's clear that the landscape of mental health care is going through a massive transformation from AI-driven conversational agents for early stage interventions to breakthroughs in psychedelic medicine and neurostimulation. The possibilities seem endless. The key challenge going forward will be integration. With so many new technologies and treatment options coming online, the real question is, how do we integrate these into existing healthcare systems? We're seeing some real barriers like the lack of interoperable electronic health records and the slow pace of infrastructure development. But the potential benefits are huge. We're also seeing a focus on personalized medicine, which could lead to treatments that are specifically tailored to the individual rather than a one size fits all approach. As AI and digital tools continue to evolve, we'll also need to have serious conversations about data privacy and security. The personal information involved in mental health care is incredibly sensitive, and we need to ensure that these new technologies are safe, secure, and respectful of privacy. That's it for today's deep dive into the mental health landscape, the technology shaping its future, and the challenges we'll need to overcome to make sure these innovations reach everyone who needs them. I hope you found this episode insightful and thought provoking.